All right, guys, I'm just getting everything set up. I'll be live here in 3 minutes officially. Um, so just let me make sure everything is working. Wow, my recurring buy on Bitcoin just went in. I just got a text message from Coinbase about that as we speak. Just getting everything set. All right, the sound looks to be good. I'm just making sure of that. Hopefully, you guys are all having a fantastic Saturday. Right now, I see Bitcoin likely to actually continue a move to the upside over the course of the weekend. We're going to look at the Fear and Greed Index. We're going to look at Bookmap. Right now, the Fear and Greed Index is getting to a point where I think we should start to use some caution. But again, in general, I still think we're okay. So everything is set up now. Let's get started. Right now, the Fear and Greed Index, like I said, in extreme greed. I'm going to show you guys that right now. Right now, again, extreme greed 79, and then the other day we were just in greed. So something to take note of, but again, nothing to worry about unless we get above 90. And honestly, if we continue going up here, it's pretty likely that we do go above 90. I appreciate the likes, guys. It does help support the channel. But anyways, I do see us probably going above 90 if Bitcoin does go to 120K this weekend, which to me is probably a 55% chance it happens. So I'll show you why I think that. But for right now, that is kind of where we stand on that regard. Let's go over to Bookmap, kind of see where the liquidity's at on Bitcoin right now, where there is the most orders. There's a lot of reasons I think we keep going up this weekend. We'll get into that. Bookmap is one of them. Bookmap still has liquidity to the upside, around 120,000 on the weekly time frame. Now, if you look on the daily, there's not a lot of liquidity now. They've taken a lot of the liquidity away to the upside, to the downside. But if you look at the weekly, 120K still seems likely. Now, the weekly could take weeks to play out. So we'll see what happens, but I still believe we see more. Oh, I do see a lot of liquidity up there at 120,000 on the daily time frame. So again, to me, it suggests we do go up to $120,000 on Bitcoin sooner rather than later. I don't see any liquidity on the smaller time frame, such as the daily to the downside. Overall, I'd be pretty surprised if we do not sometime early next week at the latest see $120,000 Bitcoin. So I think it's even higher than 55% chance that we continue higher here. But again, another reason, along with Bookmap, that I think we're going higher is the fact that the second reason is the fact that we're in a falling wedge here on the 15-minute time frame above the 200-day moving average, with your measurement being exactly 118,900, right below that all-time high from yesterday. So in general, I would be looking for a move back to the upside. We'll see what happens. Now, again, my bearish scenario is you take out this low at 117,000. If you go below 117,000, then obviously I think this bullish move is off the table and you can look for more downside. I did say, right now it's 9 a.m. Central Time, I did say by 4 p.m. Central Time, Bitcoin is at or above 117,500. Right now, we're just a hair above that, but in 8 hours, if this falling wedge plays out, I believe will be higher. We'll see what happens. I did that bet on Kalshi, not sponsored, but that is where I did the bet. Either way, that's kind of what we see going on. If you guys have requests for altcoins, let me know. But let's break down Bitcoin on the higher to lower time frames as we speak. So, by the way, next week I'll be live Monday like usual, and then I'll be live Wednesday and Thursday as well because I won't be live Saturday or Monday of the following week. I'll talk more about that later. But right now on the daily time frame, you're still extended overbought on the RSI. But the good situation is the fact that you are breaking out of this bull pennant here on the daily. So really, the daily time frame, since I talked about a few days ago or maybe yesterday, has not changed. The 12-hour time frame has not changed. The stock RSI is starting to curve to the downside, but if Bitcoin goes back up to 120,000, to me, I mean, obviously that's going to go back up as well. So I'm not that worried about that. 8-hour time frame, not worried about that really. 6-hour time frame, not really worried about that. 4-hour time frame, a little worried. You're really far away from the 200-day moving average, so the smaller time frames, you should be cognizant of it. The 3 hours is about to make a higher low. That's fantastic. The 2 hours already made a higher low on the stock RSI, and the 1 hour, same situation. And I see this as well. So I see a falling wedge on the 15-minute, but I also see just a bull pennant here on like the 1 hour time frame, a bull flag, whatever you want to call it. Either way, it's bullish. And so I see a falling wedge inside a bull pennant. Both of them are bullish moves, likely to continue to the upside. So we'll see what happens. Really, the measure move should be from right there. So, like on the 50-minute time frame, I see it move back to all-time highs. But at some point, I see Bitcoin probably sometime later next week going up to 126,000 minimum. This is not guaranteed. This is, I would say, 68% chance we see 126,000 in the next 1 to 2 weeks. I think there's a 60% chance we go back to all-time highs later today. So this is like really my bullish scenario. So as long as Bitcoin can hold $117,000, I think both of these are on the table. The second we lose 117,000, that is when obviously the next stop to the downside is back down approximately, probably down to 112,300, 112K. That is really the next support we have, because we have gone straight up. Really, in all reality, we've gone straight up with very little sideways or downside price action to build support. So really, if Bitcoin cannot hold 117,000, I do see the next support being about 112,000 and change, and that is not fantastic. And even 112,000, actually, I think 112,000 is very strong support, because remember, that was the previous all-time high from about 2 months ago. So see what happens. I actually do think that's pretty good support at that level. So we'll see what happens, but that is kind of what I see going on for Bitcoin. If we lose 117,000, 112 really could be the next stop. That'd be pretty bad, but I guess that'd be a great time for people to get scared, get out of the markets. People can start shorting, and then you get another short squeeze maybe a few weeks later. So we'll see what happens. But I also think if you lose 117,000, it's going to be a few more weeks before another new all-time high. So we'll see what happens. If the bulls want to remain bullish, that's the level you must hold. So that's my breakdown of Bitcoin on the smaller time frames to the larger time frames. If you guys have requests for altcoins, let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, I'll be back live Monday. But that's kind of what I see going on right now for Bitcoin, is that level that we must hold. So thank you, Red Jack, for the like. I appreciate it. But either way, yeah, that's what I see going on for Bitcoin. So let me go back down to the smaller time frame, see what's going on. So I really would also like to see Bitcoin just hold 117.5. Right now, we're struggling to do that. The 50-minute time frame gives me hope with the stock RSI. The half-hour time frame gives me decent hope. Hasn't started covering up yet, but it gives me hope. So I think I'd be pretty surprised. I think there's a 70% chance later today, even if we're not all-time highs, I think we're at least above 118,000 later today. So in like 8 hours. It is the weekend. You get less volume on the weekend, so be understanding of that. So we can go look at altcoins now, see what's going on in the market. But in general, until Bitcoin really does get a nice bounce here, I wouldn't be shocked if we didn't see altcoins do much. I did say I saw Bitcoin Cash. If you broke $508 going straight to 542, you went to 539, and so we got pretty close to my measure move, and now we're going back down to that support at 508. Below that now at 507. If you can't hold that, 500, it would be the next psychological support. But Bitcoin Cash really gave us a nice move this week. I did not take a long on that, but I did give you the call. If you took the call, you'd be in the money. If you didn't take the call, then I don't know what you're doing. We also have a trading group. If you guys want to join that, link to join is in the description below. But yeah, so that's Bitcoin Cash. At this point, Bitcoin Cash is probably headed back down to $500. This is a falling wedge here on the 1 hour. Can we break back to the upside? That's the question. Bitcoin Cash right now looks kind of choppy and ugly to me. At this point, I would not be taking a long just yet. I'd be waiting to see if you hold 500. Because if Bitcoin Cash does not hold $500, your next stop is going to be 468 or 470. And this is going down pretty fast. Bearish engulfing candles. This was a mini falling wedge on the 15-minute time frame. I can just see it on the 1 hour. So to me at this point, Bitcoin Cash on the 15-minute time frame is in a downtrend. That was definitely a rising wedge. I didn't see it until just now, but that was a rising wedge. And at this point, you can expect more downside on Bitcoin Cash. So we'll see what happens, but Bitcoin Cash, to me, seems likely to at least go down to $500. And if you look at the 5-minute time frame, it almost looks like you're making another bear flag on the 5-minute. So again, if Bitcoin does not get a strong bounce here, altcoins, especially Bitcoin Cash included, could really get a bloodbath down lower. At this point, I see 470 probably be the next top for Bitcoin Cash. That just seems like the most likely scenario. You have a measure move out of this bear flag on the 5-minute unless you break back up to 489. Although if you break back above 508, then again, I would say we're fine. So overall, this probably likely scenario makes some kind of rounded bottom and just gets a move back to the upside. But the bearish scenario is you dump. The bullish scenario is you get back above 508 and continue and can start your move back to 530. So I've seen a lot of charts in my day. I would be pretty surprised if we don't make a rounded bottom here. You're testing the top of the channel right now of this bear flag, and at this point, I think the most likely scenario is bounce back to the upside for Bitcoin Cash. You can see the 4-hour time frame is oversold. You can see the 1 hour is oversold. It just looks likely. I know the 15 is below the 200, so would I long this? Well, I don't know. It's high risk, but it does seem likely at this point you make a rounded bottom. So many times people see bear flags, so they want to short it, but they don't see that it could become a rounded bottom. And especially in a bull market, you just got to be a little more bullish than bearish. But you do what you want to do. I'm not saying do it either. I'm just saying I could see a bear flag going down, but I think the most likely scenario is, but barely. I think the 55% chance we actually get around the bottom and go back to the upside. But it's barely. It's 50-50 really in general. So that's Bitcoin Cash. Doesn't look fantastic, but I think there's a slightly higher chance we do get the bounce back on Bitcoin Cash. If you guys have a request for altcoins, let me know. I do appreciate the likes, Red Jack. So Atom is another one that I'm watching, not really buying just yet. It looks pretty bad in general to me. Although it did have a nice break above the 200 on the 4-hour. That's a good sign. Hopefully you don't just reverse and come back down. That's really what you have to watch now, would be that bearish scenario. So we'll see what happens, but in general, right now, Bitcoin Cash, Atom looks a little sketchy to me. I mean, it looks like you just put in a slightly lower low. If Bitcoin Cash cannot hold $4.50, really, unfortunately, just coming back probably down to $4, back below the 4-hour 200. And it looks like this is a bearish engulfing candle right now. So to me, it looks really sketchy. That's not great. And honestly, I'm a little bit worried that's going to become a head and shoulders pattern on the 1-hour time frame. Yeah, it's a little hard to see, but the longer I do this, the easier it is for me to see. I would be pretty surprised at this point if Bitcoin Cash doesn't dump back down to that 350 support. I hate to say that, but it looks atrocious. That's a head and shoulders pattern, and the neckline would be right here. That would be the neckline, 455. The second you break 455, you could be looking for a move probably down. Let me look at this. So you take the measure move from the top of the head to the bottom of the left shoulder. So your measure move on Bitcoin or on Atom would be down to 430, 427. So that's the measure move on Bitcoin, on Atom. I don't know why I keep saying Bitcoin Cash. On Atom, I see it move back down to 430. So that is kind of what I'd be watching for. It really looks bad to me in general. Doesn't look good. All right, so that's Atom in a nutshell. Atom looks likely to dump. I mean, to be honest with you, that's actually not a bad short, you know? That's actually a decent short. And it's not fantastic. I wouldn't probably short that, but it does look likely to dump if you break 454. 455, 454, the second you break that, you're likely to be done. So again, that's kind of what I got going on. Solana was a request I just saw. Let me see if there's any request on YouTube. We are live on YouTube as well. Solana on the daily time frame, below the 200, getting rejected. Top of the channel, 4-hour time frame doesn't look great. So let me jump down to the 4-hour time frame. Trying to make a falling wedge, but that looks like a rounded top probably in the smaller time frames. Probably back down to the 4-hour 200. Let me look at the 1 hour. What's the 1 hour doing? 1 hour has a chance to bounce here. Has a chance. If Bitcoin bounces, Solana is going to bounce as well. But you just have to... It's not working. Okay, there we go. So, let me just make this a little cleaner. But, yeah, I mean, I see a bounce coming for Solana. You know, the higher time frames don't look great, but the smaller time frames, 33-minute aggressive curve up on the stock RSI. The 15-minute curve up might make a lower high there. So, I don't know. I'm kind of split on Solana. I see at least some kind of bounce coming on Solana. And your measure move is $171 and change. So, you know, be cautious. It looks decent to me, but not fantastic. I love the half-hour time frame. That looks good to me. The 10 minutes already overbought. So, at the end of the day, I would not touch this. I would not touch Solana. The smaller time frames look sketchy to me. The higher time frames look sketchy to me. The half-hour and the 1 hour look good to me. I mean, to me, it doesn't look great. Let me look at the 15-minute. 15-minute lost at 200. Anytime that happens, I expect the higher time frames to follow. The 33-minute is about to lose it. You might get a bounce here, though, off that 200. So we'll see. I mean, Solana to me, like you have this measure move. I wouldn't be surprised at all if you go up to 171. If Bitcoin bounces hard here, which it's doing right now, I think because Bitcoin's bouncing, I think Solana's going to bounce here as well back to 171. But again, the 10-minute looks bearish. The 15-minute time frame that's getting overbought pretty quick. That's going straight up pretty quickly. You don't want to see that on the stock RSI. A healthier stock RSI would be the half-hour time frame that is curving up, but not aggressively. Or I mean, it is curving up aggressively, but it's not going straight up like the 15-minute. Do you see what I'm talking about? So we'll see what happens. That the stock RSI right here is curving to the upside. It's curving to the upside, but it's not going straight up. It's going pretty close to up, but it's not going straight up like the 15. The 15 is going straight up. The 33-minute looks a lot more bullish. I don't know. It's hard to see, but I've done this long enough to understand how it works. And to me, the 33-minute looks like a massive breakout's coming to 171. The 15-minute looks bad, but the higher time frames can take over and do damage. I see Solana probably going to at least 170, 171 on the high end. And that is my call on Solana. I see a small move coming on to Solana back to the upside. So that would be actually a decent move up on Solana of 6%. That looks possible and likely. 70% chance you get that 6% move back to the upside on Solana. Thank you for the likes on YouTube. I appreciate it. So yeah, and I love what I see on Bitcoin on the 15. The 15-minute time frame looks really good to me. The stock RSI is curving up healthy. The half-hour time frame is curving up very healthy. Looks fantastic. I'm in love with the half-hour time frame on Bitcoin. I see a Bitcoin move coming back to $119,000 later today. That's exactly what I see. The 1 hour time frame looks fantastic. I love this. You're in a bull pennant on the 1 hour time frame for Bitcoin. You're in a falling wedge on the 15-minute time frame for Bitcoin. So you have a falling wedge inside a bull pennant on the 1 hour time frame for Bitcoin. This is screaming to me that we're going to pump, but I could be wrong. Anything can happen. Just understand that. But I think there's at least a 70% chance Bitcoin's going back to all-time highs later today and making a new one later today. I would say in the next 4 to 12 hours, we see a new all-time high for Bitcoin. It could be sooner, but I would say 4 to 12 hours. Well, we are in extreme greed, but we're not in extreme greed. Extreme greed, I would say, is above 90, but we're in low extreme greed. So I think we see one more move to the upside. Bookmap suggests we go up to 120,000 at some point in the next few days. It could happen today, but probably not. It's the weekend. So understand, if we go and pump this weekend, we probably have to come back down next week. So just be cautious. And again, if you lose 117,000, you have no support until 112. So bulls must hold that level. Right now, it looks decent to me. It really does. But again, it's the weekend, so it's more sketch. It is. All right, guys. I think everything's. If you are asking me if I think we dump, you have not listened to a word I've said this entire live stream. And I also said if this, then that. If we hold $117,000, I see a pump. If we lose $117,000, I see a move down to 112, and then we all dump. I mean, come on. If Bitcoin falls, then the rest of the dominoes are probably going to follow suit. So, meaning the altcoins. That's my update, guys. I'll be back live Monday. Again, later this week, I'll also be live on Wednesday and Thursday. For right now, plan at 9 p.m. Central Time. If it has to change, I'll let you guys know in my Telegram group, which the link on that is on Twitter, and I think it might be other places, but it's definitely on Twitter. So either way, that's kind of what I see going on, and I will be live on Wednesday and Thursday of this upcoming week as well as Monday, because I will not be live Friday or the following, no, I won't be live on Saturday or Monday of the following week because I'll be out of town. So, but I still want to make sure I live stream on average twice a week, 4 weeks a month. So that's my update, guys. I see a pump coming. That's just my likely, that just looks like the most likely situation for me. And I think maybe we top out locally for a month or two at 120,000, but I do see 120K coming sooner rather than later. We'll see what happens. 15 minutes struggling a little bit here, but I still like what I see on the higher time frames for Bitcoin. That's all I got, guys. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your Saturday. Yeah, Bitcoin is struggling in the 15-minute time frame right now, though, so we'll see what happens. But either way, a half hour still looks decent to me for a move up. So I just watch the higher time frames and chill and relax. I would probably not touch the 15-minute time frame unless you're just going to stay long as you hold the 15-minute 200, which is 116.5. But that's my update, guys. I'll see you guys on Monday night. Until then, trade safe. Always use the stop loss. The trend is your friend until the end. On the 15-minute time frame, the trend is up. So that's kind of what I see going on as a move back to the upside on Bitcoin. I hope you guys have a great night. I still see a move up coming later tonight, and that's what will leave us off at. Cheers, and have a great rest of your Saturday. Adios, and goodbye.